Hey dudes, my name is Blekoh, and I've been cycling down the road to completion for my VR game. I've added some cool new features, so let's get into it. First of all, I've been using the default VR controller setup this entire time, but it didn't really feel right, so let's knock that out first. Alright, so originally I had it set up so that left joystick moves around the player, right joystick snaps the view, and right trigger lets you warp to different positions. It feels okay, but I want to save the triggers for something else, so I swapped the warp button so that when you hold back on the right joystick, it warps the player. This is basically the same control scheme as Half-Life Alyx, and since they had a full company, and I just have me, I figured they tested that out a lot more, and found that it's much better. Ah, yeah, that does feel pretty good. Sweet, so now that the controls feel better, I want to feel better. By doing something. What, you ask? I want to lift things up and put them down, baby! I want to get swole! I want them anchor arms! I want to walk down the street and people look at me and be like, dang, he must work out. Alright, so how do I do that? Well, I want to be able to pick up random things in the game and throw them around. Of course, some things will actually have use for picking them up, but it feels good sometimes to just pick up random objects and throw them around for fun. So I'll start with just this little container. It's actually pretty easy to implement picking stuff up in Godot VR, thanks to this dude. With the godotvr tools plugin he made, you can just add the pickup function to your player hands, and then for all the objects, you just inherit the pickupable object, which is basically a rigid body with extra stuff, and it works. I added some sound effects for when you pick up the container, and when it hits the grounds or walls and whatnot, and I think it feels pretty good. I can toss it around and catch it, and yeet! It was super easy to also get this canister looking thing working as well, so adding more as I go will be super simple. Sweet, I'm feeling ripped already. Now that I'm all pumped up, I need something to beat up. What good is having all this power but nothing to use it on? So I need an enemy, but I want this one to be pretty passive so I can just go Insano style on it. A lot of games have these sort of passive enemies that are just kinda there, and you really have to be pretty careless to get damaged by them. Or they don't do damage at all, like those tendril things in Half-Life, the tiny rats in RuneScape, or grunts in Halo. I want them to be more decorative, and I was thinking something floaty. And what floats? Jellyfish. I mean, it needs to look more alienish, but it's basically a jellyfish. Alright, so I have an alien floating jellyfish. I do want it to have the ability to hurt a player, but it's not going to be aggressive, so for damage, I made it so if the tendrils touch you, then you get hurt. To kill it, you just poke it with a shovel or something. These dudes will just be scattered around the place to kinda set the mood. They can move, but it's really slowly, and they don't try to follow you or anything. I made them kinda just randomly spoop around the place, and they come in all different sizes. Anyway dudes, that's all I got so far. See ya!